This is TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Over 2 million men worldwide choose Manscaped for all their below-the-waist needs. For those that love the Lawnmower 3.0, well, I got news for you. The Manscaped engineering team has confirmed that they have successfully created the Lawnmower 4.0. The Lawnmower 4.0 gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. The new trimmer even allows you to customize your trim all through additional guards lengths, sizes 1 through 4. And looks-wise, it's sleek with a two-tone matte and gloss finish, even features a hot foil stamp, black chrome Manscaped logo. Show your more off loud and proud. Go to manscaped.com, use the promo code State of Saints, and you will save 20% off of the Lawnmower 4.0 as well as other Manscaped items. That's manscaped.com. What's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Hope everybody's having a great day. This is the podcast where we talk New Orleans Saints. And on this edition, we're going to be talking about some huge news coming out of Metairie, Louisiana. Well, by way of Texas, by way of Jacksonville. The New Orleans Saints unfortunately released running back Latavius Murray. However, there's a silver lining in this dark cloud. The Saints also made a trade for cornerback Bradley Roby. But thank you so much for all those that are following into the chat and those that are listening live right now. I really do appreciate it. And this is a show that I want to focus on showing love, okay? If you follow me on Twitter, TJ Jones8, TJAY Jones 8, I asked a question about podcasts, Saints podcast, because there's a lot of really talented members of the Who Dat Nation, and I want to show them some love. So in the middle of asking questions about the New Orleans Saints and making comments, why don't you drop down some of your favorite Saints podcasts? So maybe somebody that probably don't know about the podcast, maybe they can find out too, because, you know, it's so much content that can go around. So we want to show love to absolutely everybody. All right. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this Latavius Murray move. I got to say, Who Dat Nation, I was completely and utterly shocked by this move. Okay. Some people say, man, how could you not be shocked? You seen Tony Jones Jr. doing his thing. You seen him handling his business. You seen him out there slicing through defenses like Swiss cheese. You seen the whole Baltimore Raven drive where he basically took the team on his back and ran it in for a touchdown. Look, I understand all that, but at the same time, it's not like Latavius Murray would chop liver. Latavius Murray was a solid backup running back. And, you know, he was one of those guys, you know, I often say he's always the bridesmaid and never the bride. He's a very underrated running back. And I think a lot of people don't give this guy that respect, mostly because, you know, Latavius Murray is not like the rah-rah type guy. You know, he wasn't as vocal and as animated as Mark Ingram. He's not going to, be the center of attention and do so many crazy things, you know what I'm saying, that just makes us like, oh, man, he's out there. All he did was have a lunch pail mentality. And anytime the Saints called his number, he answered. He's a very solid backup running back, which me personally, I don't feel like he's going to be on the street for long. There are a lot of teams that still need running backs, teams like the Jets, teams like the Dolphins, they need somebody to be able to tote the mail, and not to mention maybe even out there in Arizona. So looking at Latavius Murray's situation, for those that may not know what happened, Latavius Murray was asked to take a pay cut. And Latavius Murray said he was not going to take a pay cut. So the Saints decided to release him. Now, there are some talking heads out there, people like Shannon Sharp, people like Emmanuel Acho from the show Speak for Yourself. They're saying that the Saints did your boy Latavius Murray down bad, dirty, as we say down in New Orleans, man. Down bad, dirty. They said that they waited to the wee hours of the night, so to speak, to give this guy the old tomato, not the ultimatum, but the old tomato. And of course, you know, they pretty sure they probably thought to themselves, well, if we ask him around here, maybe he'll say, you know, yes. But Latavius said absolutely not. And I think it had a lot to do with the fact that Latavius kind of knew what the Saints were up to. I think he kind of figured that the New Orleans Saints, I mean, I'm just speculating here. He probably thought that maybe they were going to try to move on from him anyway. I think he probably looked at himself as a dead man running, so to speak. And it kind of spoke volumes, like the way that he ran in preseason. You know, I guess he felt like he was one of those running backs that shouldn't be out there. And if I'm the backup running back and I'm giving you this type of production as a backup running back, why am I out here? You know, Devontae Freeman needs to try to make the team. Tony Jones needs to try to make the team. So why am I out here? So you can tell, man, in his body language, the way that, you know, the Saints were, you know, using them in practice and stuff like that at training camp, from some of the reports that you heard, that it just seems like to me that the Saints pretty much had their mind made up about what they wanted to do in the first place. And I think the whole Tony Jones situation paid dividends for the Saints. But you have to give credit where credit is due to the New Orleans Saints, because unlike some of these other teams out here who try to force guys to work, oh, I paid this guy this money, oh, I gave him this much Skrilla, so we're going to go ahead and put him out there. The Saints don't work like that as an organization. And that's why I have an appreciation for that. They put the best player on the field. No matter how much they're paying them, they're going to put the best guy on the field. And some teams don't roll like that. And that's one of the main reasons why some of those teams out there don't attain the same level of success as the New Orleans Saints. But Tony Jones Jr. was the better running back. He deserved to go out there and be the backup running back to Alvin Kamara. And Latavius Murray will bounce back on his feet. He will find a team. He won't be on the streets for long. He's not one of those guys you have to worry about staying injured. You don't have to worry about him not being ready, not being in shape, not being ready to go. He's a very smart football player, and I wish Latavius Murray the best. I see people trying to, you know, talk about Latavius Murray, saying that he wasn't a Saints guy. Look, Latavius Murray just wasn't wired like that. And as long as you're going out there and producing, you don't have to be the rah-rah guy. You ain't got to be the guy to be the center of attention. You ain't got to be running from sideline to sideline, yelling and screaming, or even the guy that's waving a flag and stamping a flag in the middle of the field. Like, you don't have to be that guy. As long as you are productive, as long as when your number called, you answer the bell, I don't have a problem with that. Every time Latavius Murray was in the game as a starter to replace Alvin Kamara, he rose to the occasion. Anytime he had a high value of runs, I mean, he went over 100 yards or close to 100 yards. And that's the best thing you can ask for in a backup running back. So I salute Latavius Murray. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And I know that you're going to achieve great things in this league for a few more years, man. So shouts out to Latavius Murray. Thank you, LT. Go ahead and stomp it with the boom. Hit him with the LT, man. Shouts out to LT. But now we have to move on, man. We have to move on, and now Tony Jones Jr. is going to be the backup running back to Alvin Kamara. But let me go ahead and answer some of your questions. And once again, thank you all for being a part of the show. Thank you so much for stopping by. Really do appreciate that. Make sure, once again, that you put your favorite New Orleans Saints podcast inside of the chat while you're talking, man, so we can show some love to all of the New Orleans Saints podcasters out there. Want to give a special shout out while I'm thinking about this. Want to give a special shout out to all the Saints podcasts, man. Who Dat Confessionals, Big Q, you know what I'm saying, with the Sports Coma, Locked On Saints with my boy Ross Jackson, man. Who Dat, you know what I'm saying? Who Dat Aaron out there, Aaron Davis, you know what I'm saying, with the Black and Gold Breakdown podcast. Got my boy Merv out there. Shouts out to him. The Saints, you know what I'm saying, the Saints hour. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to them boys out there, man. So there's a lot of Saints content that's going on around here, and there's some really good, you know, guys that are on the up and up, man, starting their podcast. Shout out to Hood Juby. Hood Juby is starting all these podcasts. Shouts out to you, brother. And so many others out there, man. So there's so many I probably missed by even mentioning that. So if you know a Saints podcast, you know a Saints podcaster, make sure that you're showing some love. And also I got to show love to my guy Nas as well, man, doing great things as well. We're going to start with Kim. Kim says it's crazy how the sports analysts don't study the Saints, but want to have an input on why the Saints so-called let Tate go. But from Jeff Duncan, it was because of us trying to bring in a corner, which they did, Kim. And that's the thing, man. The Saints needed a cornerback. And because Tony Jones played so well in the preseason, it made the decision pretty easy, man. So you have to give credit where credit is due to the New Orleans Saints. Look, man, this is a business. And that's something that we sometimes forget. We forget sometimes that this is the business. And I get it, right? You know what I'm saying? People love Latavius Murray. Latavius Murray ain't did nothing wrong at all. You know what I'm saying? He just went out there and was extremely productive. But at the same time, he's at an expendable position, and you're not the starting running back. It's not like we're trying to trade or get rid of Alvin Kamara here to save some money. This is a guy who's a backup running back. And when you have a guy that's young and emergent like Tony Jones Jr. and played better than you in the preseason, it made the situation kind of easy for the New Orleans Saints. Now, I don't know what the issue was. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I know the Saints are trying to do what's best for the Saints. The Saints aren't trying to rebuild like these people are trying to make it seem like they're trying to do. They're not trying to rebuild. The Saints are trying to be a formidable football team. You don't try to make moves like this if you're not trying to be formidable. And that's what the Saints are trying to do. Some teams are probably mailing in, probably go for draft positions. They won't say it out loud, but that's how they will coach it. And that's how they will try to run the organization. But the Saints still feel like they have a chance to be a successful franchise. And me personally, I feel the same way. I'm not one of those people that think that the Saints are going to take a step back. I don't think that the Saints are going to be one of those teams that are just going to fall off the map like some people are thinking that they're going to be. I think this is going to be a really good football team. It's going to fly under the radar because you have a lot of talking heads and pundits out there that don't want the Saints to be successful. So they want to keep on speaking it into existence, so to speak, but let them have it. But at the same time, I feel like this is going to be a really good football team because they're well coached. And I feel like they're going to put this team in the best position to succeed. They're not afraid to make the tough decisions. And that's what's the recipe for great, successful franchises. The franchises that are not afraid to make tough decisions. It's just as simple as that. There's a lot of things in our own lives, right? We don't want to make these type of decisions, but it's for the betterment of our lives. It's for the betterment of our children. It's for the betterment of our careers. We make those tough decisions. And sometimes you have to hurt some feelings, and sometimes you got to let some very important things go in order for you to get where you need to be. The Saints felt like they had to get rid of Latavius Murray and free up $2.6 million to get what they need. So it's simple as that. Moving on. AG says, why the heck did they release him? I don't like this. Well, AG, look, it's not the most favorable decision as a Saints fan. Like I said, we all love Latavius Murray. We like him a lot. I like Latavius Murray. I like the quiet swag that he possesses. You know what I'm saying? He was almost like Marcus Colston running a rock, right? It's not the, like Marcus Colston, he'll score a touchdown across his heart, you know what I'm saying, throw it up in the air. He had the whole, you know what I'm saying, that whole LT thing. It was just as simple as that. And I liked his quiet demeanor. I like the way he run the football. I like the lunch pail mentality. But once again, AG, this is a business. It's a business. And sometimes we got to make those tough decisions, my friend. Eugene says, Pondon move. Let me see. This is why we win. Yeah, look, this is what it is. Okay. You got to make these tough decisions. You got to make the tough decisions in order for your team to be successful. Period. Brian says Big Q podcast. Absolutely, man. Shouts out to Big Q and the sports coma out there, man. Shouts out to him. The Saints have a brand new cornerback. Yeah, we're going to talk about Bradley Roby a little bit later, man. Bobby says, was not shocked by the Latavius Murray, Tony Jones Jr. look better at camp. Better to release a player a year earlier than later. NFL is a business. Yeah, I mean, look no further than a team that a lot of people don't really care for, but the New England Patriots. I mean, how many times have they got rid of guys like Chandler Jones and Richard Seymour and guys like that? You know, they let them go. And people like, man, why did they let that guy go? Because they realize, man, you know, what are we going to get? Maybe 2 or 3 more years of production out this guy before he starts to fall off and we feel like we start losing money. Teams that run their organization like that have a tendency of being successful for a long period of time. Yeah, that's how you find sustainable success. Period. It's not a popularity contest that we run in here, folks. As unfair as it is, that's the way football is. Elise says, apologies, TJ. He was a mere shell of himself, Murray. Look, I had a conversation, and shouts out to my brother Sam. I'm pretty sure he's probably gonna watch this, right? He's probably watching this now or probably watching it later on in a replay, you know, if you're watching the replay of it. But me and him had a really long conversation. We talked about 2 hours, man. And he talked a little bit about Latavius Murray, man, and he laid a lot on my mind. And, you know, he talked about how he felt like Latavius Murray left a lot to be desired. And, I mean, we were really going at it because, you know, I'm a Latavius Murray fan. So, I mean, I look at it from this way, right? What do you expect your number 2 running back to do? Do you expect for him to, like, be a battering ram, running for 1,000 yards? Like, what do we need? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you actually looking for a backup? I look for a backup when a guy, you know what I'm saying, taps his helmet, needs to get out the game. I'm talking your starter. Guy comes in, probably give you about 5 or 6 yards, right? Maybe get about 10 or 12 carries, you know what I'm saying, just to try to alleviate some of the pressures off the starting running back. That's what I look at. And I feel like Latavius Murray did just that. You know, I wasn't expecting Latavius Murray to be as dynamic or run between the tackles as successful as your starting running back in Alvin Kamara. I expected him to do what he needed to do when his number got called. When Alvin Kamara was down, we seen Latavius Murray average 159 yards from scrimmage. It was, he had some really good games in that stretch. And I look at it this way, man. Latavius Murray ran for over 100 yards on some of the best defenses in football, man. Last season, he ran for over 100 yards against the Denver Broncos, which was a top 5 defense. When Alvin Kamara was out a year before, they went up against the Chicago Bears, which was a top 5 defense, and he ran for 100+ yards. And he followed that up the following week against Arizona, who had a really good defense, and he went for 100 yards with them. So I look at it like, okay, it's not like he's doing this against chopped liver. It's not like he's doing it against the Atlanta Falcon defense or he's doing it against the Minnesota Vikings defense of last year. Okay, he was doing it against some of the top defenses in the league. And that's why I evaluate a guy. You know what I'm saying? How is he running between the tackles? How violent is he running? You know what I'm saying? What's the yard per clip? You know, and he averaged, I mean, he had like 600+ yards. I mean, Alvin Kamara had 900 and some odd yards. He probably was about 40 yards away from 1,000. So he wasn't that far away from the total yards rushing than Alvin Kamara was. So I think that he was a very formidable running back. Now, is he a starting running back on most teams? Probably not. But he's definitely a good complementary back, a guy that can come in and alleviate some of the pressure off of one of your starters. Murray was very well needed, but we never utilized him to make up for his salary. He's solid, but he was rarely used. I agree with that. You know, he wasn't used as much as you would think that he would need to be used. But I think that had a lot to do with the fact that Alvin Kamara is an every down back. You know, Alvin Kamara can run between the tackles. He can catch out of the backfield. He can run east-west, north-south, wherever you need him to go. And not to mention, you can line him up as a possible wide receiver, and he has hands almost similar to that of a receiver. So when you have a running back that can do all these things, you really don't need that backup running back for the exception of maybe when that guy is tired or you don't want to put too much on that particular starting running back, a guy that can do a multifaceted of things like Alvin Kamara can do. So I can understand that. Now, if you have a guy, you know, that goes to a team, maybe you have a guy that's not every down back, then you probably have more carries for a Latavius Murray. But I just feel like because Alvin Kamara was so dynamic and he can do so many great things and he barely ever had to leave the field and his conditioning was top notch, it's kind of hard for a backup just to come in there. You know, it's not the same when a guy can run between the tackles but can't really catch, right? That's the reason why in Minnesota, Adrian Peterson was out there. You needed a guy like McKinney, you know what I'm saying, catching the ball out the backfield on third down. because Adrian Peterson basically had stones for hands. You know what I'm saying? So with Alvin Kamara, you got a guy that can run in between the tackles and do everything a running back can do, as well as catch the ball. So there's not really a place for a guy to be a backup, for the exception of when he taps his helmet and wants to leave the field. It was done to get money for a corner, and he didn't play special teams. That's interesting, you know. I mean, but yeah, like I said, we're going to talk about the corner a little bit later. I'm going to scroll down a little bit to read some of your comments, and then we'll get into the Bradley Roby trade. All respect to Murray and everything he's done for the Saints organization. Yeah, respect to Latavius Murray. Tony Jones Jr. has a nice burst. He'll be a nice addition to AK. Yeah, he'll be a nice addition to it, but I just hope that, you know, he can stay healthy. The only thing that bothers me about Tony Jones is when he got his opportunity back in week 17 to start, him and Todd Montgomery, you know, he ended up getting hurt in that game. So I want to see him stay healthy. You know, hopefully he can stay healthy throughout the season so we can really see what we actually have in a backup running back in Jones. I'm just ready for Sunday at this point. Brandon, I feel the same way. Tony Jones Jr. looks like he could be a Reggie Bush type of running back, and imagine that Alvin Kamara and Reggie Bush type of running back tandem. I think that he's a little bit more of a power back, and you know what I'm saying, a little bit more of a power back than Reggie Bush is. You know, I think that people don't really give Tony Jones as much credit to know how big and solid this guy actually is. I don't really get vibes of a Reggie Bush from him casual, you know, but I think that he's a guy that can be, you know, a little bit of a power back. He's not a small guy at all, you know. Not from what I saw. Murray. Good evening. Who that, fam? Offensive line is on point as well. Yeah, the offensive line looked great last time we seen them against Jacksonville, the starting lineup. Saints Uptown Podcast. Okay, shouts out to Saints Uptown Podcast. I'm in Houston, and Texans fans believe we just got their best cornerback for a 6th-round pick. Well, you know, look, the Houston Texans, I don't know what's going on with that right there. You know, Tyrod Taylor is going to start dealing with, you know, the situation with Deshaun Watson. And, man, I just don't know, man. I don't know if they are really trying to go for it, or, you know, they trying to get a little early draft pick. I don't know what's going on here. But, you know, since you know, Eve brought this up, let's go ahead and just talk about Bradley Roby. You know, Bradley Roby came out in 2014. He was the 31st pick overall coming out of Ohio State, which adds to that whole Ohio State New Orleans Saints love affair. You know, he's a guy who had up and down career. You know, a lot of people felt like, you know, he didn't live up to that 1st-round pick moniker, you know, or that stamp that he got. But he is a solid cornerback. You know, he's a very instinctive guy. I think in the right system, he can be really, really good. And him and Marshawn Lattimore have a level of chemistry and a friendship. You know, these guys hang out in the all season together. They, you know what I'm saying, they're friends. They played at Ohio State together. So I think that this is going to be something that benefits the New Orleans Saints. And I think a winning culture, no disrespect to the Houston Texans or the Houston Texans fans that's probably checking this out, but, you know, it's a winning culture going on over here. It's not a bunch of nonsensical things, trading some of the best players that you got for some jelly beans. You know, it's nothing like that going on right now. This is a solid organization that is going for broke every single year. And no matter what the situation is, no matter if they're back against the wall or not, they're going to find ways to win. And, you know, Janoris Jenkins even said it. I mean, he had no dog in the fight at this particular point. I mean, he was playing for the Tennessee Titans. I mean, he could have easily said, man, they ain't want me back. They ain't try to put the money together to bring me back, you know, but he said, man, it's the best organization that he ever played for. And I just think that the energy inside of the Saints locker room for a player, it becomes contagious, you know, and when people, you know, like where they're at, they like their environment. They have a tendency of wanting to go hard for that environment. They have a tendency of wanting to play a little bit harder, you know what I'm saying, for their brothers. So the fact that he actually has some guys, some emotional investment, some guys that he actually went to college with, playing on the same team as him, you know, going to a winning culture, high expectations, Super Bowl or bust basically every year when it comes to the New Orleans Saints, even this year. I'm sorry, folks. It is what it is. Just because Drew Brees is not here anymore doesn't mean that the expectations are low, regardless to what people are saying. This team has high expectations, and when you go to a team, you get traded to a team, you get drafted to a team with high expectations, you have to bring your A game. Okay. And I just think that with the addition of Chris Richard as his secondary coach, a guy that demands perfection, a guy that has a certain standard that he expects out of his cornerbacks and his safeties, Bradley Roby is going to be a really good addition for the Saints. And not to mention, the fact that they actually gave up a low draft pick for this guy, like it was a 6th-round pick. So and all these people out here that's talking about Desmond Trufant and he's going to be the starter. No, he's not. No, he's not. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. No, he's not. If he's starting, he's probably going to start this week, but next week is going to be Bradley Roby. You do not trade for a guy that you're not going to use. When have the Saints traded for a guy in the middle of the season, at the beginning of the season, they ain't use him, in the defense as a starter? You know what I'm saying? We can say, they traded for Teddy Bridgewater, but that was for being a solid backup. I mean, it's pretty relatively obvious that he wasn't going to start over Drew Brees. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to the cornerback position, they're making these type of trades. He will be the number 2 cornerback. He will be the number 2 cornerback. There's not a doubt in my mind. You don't make trades like this if the guy is not going to start at a position that needs a starter, period. No matter how good those other guys played, and they played well. But those guys are not going to start over a guy that they're going to waste a draft pick on. That's just what it is. No matter how low you may think that draft pick is. They feel like this guy can be on the opposite side of Marshawn Lattimore and do some damage. Okay, so I'm interested to see that. Tyra says, hey, TJ, sitting at work watching the podcast. Shout out to you and your family. Glad the Saints were able to add depth at the cornerback position, but why in the world are we all our players from Ohio State? Yeah, like I said, there is a love affair between the New Orleans Saints and Ohio State Buckeyes. But I will say this, like if the love affair was, to a bunch of players that couldn't play, then I think you'll be able to hear from me. I don't think people have an issue with the players themselves. It's just the fact that they're actually coming from the same school. And at the same time, you have a school that's an hour and 30 minutes away in LSU that produces some really good football players, despite the fact of what we seen on Saturday against UCLA. They have some really good football players, and they turn out to be extraordinary pros. I mean, I can tell you so many of these guys that go out here. But at the same time, Ohio State still produces some great players as well. For every Marshawn Lattimore, you know what I'm saying, you can turn around and say, okay, Patrick Peterson, right? You know what I'm saying, Tyrann Mathieu, Von Bell, you know what I'm saying? The list goes on and on. So you can actually go toe for toe when it comes to production and really good football players from both teams. For every Danielle Hunter, what you got, a Joey and Nick Bosa, right? So it's not like these guys are chopped liver. Any way it goes, you're going to find yourself with a really good football player. So I don't have an issue with the New Orleans Saints drafting Ohio State players. My only question is to why they continues to go that route. And it's not as if when the player comes out of LSU, they're garbage or they're not good. You know what I'm saying? They always end up being really good pros. Now, I don't know if it's just the superstition of the organization feeling that, these guys are an hour and 30 minutes away from their family and friends. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, getting out of that environment will make them become better adults, but staying inside the same environment, they might be susceptible to some of these vices out here. Maybe that's their thought pattern, but it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that LSU does not produce really good football players, because they do. And at the same time, Ohio State does the same thing. I mean, there's not an Ohio State player I can think of that the Saints have drafted that didn't pan out to be really good for the team. You can go back to the late, great Will Smith. Even he, you know what I'm saying, was a really good player for the New Orleans Saints. So it's not like, we're struggling or they just, digging in a crater. They're trying to, put a square peg into a round hole here. Our only issue is the fact that they have so many talented guys in Baton Rouge that the Saints aren't looking at. But the guys in Columbus, they're just as talented as the guys in Baton Rouge. Roderick says, sometimes I don't understand these guys. Given the opportunity to play football on a pro level, making millions, why refuse a pay cut? There's many players that would love to be in the NFL. Roderick, look, thank you for the $10. But look, here's the thing, man. I think sometimes we become a little bit of prisoners of the Skrilla. You know what I'm saying? Like, and what I mean by that, being a prisoner of the Skrilla, like we look at other people's bankroll and we put it up against our own, right? when somebody say $2.6 million, like that's a lot, right? But you think about how much money Latavius Murray probably made in his lifetime or made in his career, probably close to like $20 million or something like that, maybe a little bit less, I don't know. But we think about how much is enough. But put it in, when you make a certain amount of money, you live a certain lifestyle, and, you live a different way. And it's equivalent to a guy, your boss, coming up to you and saying, Roger, hey, man, check this out. You work really hard, man. I be seeing you come in. You work real hard. Everybody like you. You're really productive. But I know you're making blase per year, but I'm just wondering, can I cut your salary a little bit? What would you say? I already know. You know what I'm saying? I already know what you're going to say. I can tell you what you're going to say. You're going to say, hell no, to the no, hell to the no. That's exactly what you're going to say. You're not going to want to take a pay cut, but that's just the way that things go sometimes, right? Like he's entitled to not want to take a pay cut. He earned his money. He earned the money that he got. So I don't knock the dude for not wanting to take a pay cut, because I wouldn't. I'm not going to take a pay cut if I've been doing everything right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to just say that, you know what I'm saying, just so you can feel good. At the fact that I know for a fact if I take this pay cut, I end up getting hurt, you're going to cut me like it ain't nothing? No, I don't blame him for that. Now, we can play the game of how much is enough, Roger, you know what I'm saying? That's fair. But at the same time, man, when you work for your money, you want your money. Friday, Tuesday, whenever you get paid, when you work and you grind every single day, you want your money. You don't want it, man. You don't want nobody to be playing around with you. You don't want nobody to be beating around the bush. You don't want nobody to say, well, what happened was. You don't want to hear none of that. You want your money, period. So I don't knock the man for that. I don't, because if I was put in that situation, I would have did the same exact thing. Because here's the thing, man. Like, you had this opportunity, and think about this, man, because this is a good point. And I kind of feel like they're grasping at straws with it, but it was a good point. The Saints knew by 3:00, if they would have put payroll in, Latavius Murray contract would have been fully guaranteed. They knew this. So why in the world would you wait till Tuesday, the wee hours, to ask this man to take a pay cut? Because they're looking out for their best interest. So my question is to every member of the Who Dat Nation that got a problem with Latavius Murray not taking a pay cut, why can't Latavius Murray look out for his best interest? I'm gonna scroll down a little bit. Thank y'all so much, man. I really appreciate this, man. Much love to everybody filing in, showing love to the chat. Sean says they need to drop this Ohio State love affair. Let me see. Sure, good players come from the school, but we ain't got to sign every player from there. Look, Sean, come on now. Look, that's just being petty, man. Yeah, I'm saying, you my guy, Sean, but you're just being petty. Like, you want the best of the best, man. You want the best of the best. You know what I'm saying? And look, you're asking how much is enough, but all of those players are producing, my friend. Every last one of them are producing. So what's the problem? The only thing is, like, how can a player be too good? Like, that's the whole role, Sean, for you to get the best players, right? And these guys, every time the Saints draft them, they're really good players. So I'm not going to stop getting good players because they all come from the same school. Who cares, right? But I think that people, feel like, oh, man, this is just cornflakes every single morning, right? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I want a little Fruit Loops, some Apple Jacks. You know what I'm saying? I guess you want to change it up a little bit when it comes to the schools. I understand that. But at the same time, man, if cornflakes is your claim to fame, you know what I'm saying? It helps you, you know what I'm saying? It still gives you those vitamins and minerals that you need. Why not? No, go stop eating cornflakes because, you know what I'm saying, it's not giving, like, oh, man, whatever. Like, if it's giving you what you want, giving you what you need, why stop? Ohio State giving you what you want, giving you what you need, why stop? But thank you, Sean, man. I understand, though, man. You want to mix a little bit. You want to put a little LSU up in that thing, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want a gumbo. You know what I'm saying? You don't want just no gumbo, just have crabs up in there. You want to put some smoked sausages in the thing. You want that rice up in that thing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You want them shrimp off in that thing. You want a mixture of things. And I understand that, man. But, hey, it's working. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got to add too much up in there for that gumbo to still hit the spot if that roux is on point. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Ohio State represents that roux. You know what I'm saying? The roux sets the whole gumbo off. You know what I'm saying? If your gumbo ain't hitting, it's because your roux ain't good. Where my Louisiana people at? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Ain't nothing worse than somebody that make gumbo that don't know how to make a good roux. Real horrible. Like you need to just retire. If you can't make a good roux, stop making gumbo. Period. Call somebody else. Call a family member. Call a friend. Somebody. Hoodie Jube says, thank you for the $9.99. Says, thanks for the shout out. Hey man, look, check this out. Like, I respect what you're doing. Keep up the good work, man. Also, thank you to Jerry and Saints 01 Elite and BNG for the support. Only going to get better from here. Ready to bring lucky subscribers to some Saints games. Just want to give back. Yeah, Hoodie Jude, man. Shouts out to you. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to you. You know what I'm saying? Your family. I'm glad everybody is safe and everything like that. I checked out your last show. I think it was right around the time I think the power got restored or something like that. So want to give a special shout out to you, man. Glad that your family is doing all right and everybody in that area, man. So shouts out to you. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit to Eugene. Eugene says, folks really pocket watching and try to tell cats what to do with their money or how much to work for when they got a unique, lucrative set of skills. Yeah, look, man. I need my money. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up, like that don't work nowhere. Like I look, this is one thing that bothers me about, fans sometimes. I think that we want these players to do things we wouldn't even do in our own lifetime. We wouldn't even do these things. Like we want these dudes to take pay cuts, but y'all know good and doggone well. If somebody asks y'all to take a pay cut, y'all gonna be like, no, sir. Y'all gonna say, no, sir. Y'all gonna be like, I'm gonna think about it. Then you go home and curse from hell to high water about how you got screwed over. So why in the world would y'all expect somebody to do something you know that you ain't gonna do? And if you saying, man, I'll do it. No, you wouldn't. You want more money right now. Some of y'all, you know what I'm saying? Man, this job right here is gonna cool and all, but I need a little bit more bread. And you probably making some real good money. So miss me with that. Y'all know I ain't lying. Like they say, if you're telling that, you're a lie and the truth ain't in you, as they say in the church. Why didn't that dude I have to take a pay cut and I didn't want to for the New Orleans Saints? Go talk to Gail Benson. She should have helped him out with that issue. She owns it Look, Gail Benson is just a figurehead of the New Orleans Saints. I fail to believe that she's putting her head into the financial situation. This isn't Jerry Jones here. This isn't, well, we love Latavius Murray a lot. And, we want him to be a part of the Dallas Cowboys. And, if he wants to stay with the Dallas Cowboys, we're going to try to make that work. No, it ain't like that. She just a figurehead. Yeah, she walked up in there, man. She I seen when she walked into TCU practice facility, she gets Sean to start asking about how his house doing and all that kind of stuff. Like if she was so embedded into this organization like that, then guess what? You know what I'm saying? She wouldn't know the situation about Latavius Murray. But I don't think she gets involved like that, Brian. So, and that's a good thing because I don't want the owners to be so fully involved in that. That's the reason why the Dallas Cowboys been trashed for the last 27 years. I mean, you got a Vince McMahon type guy for an owner, but what are you really accomplishing? It's a business for him to TJ. Yeah, it's a business. You know what I'm saying? Give me my money. I'm a capitalist. You know what I'm saying? I want my bread. I'm a capitalist. That's just the way I work. So yeah. It's called being a good sportsman. Man, look. Look, man, this ain't politics. Okay, we ain't playing Scrabble or Monopoly. Okay, actually, we are playing Monopoly here, but at the same time, like we are not going to do this in our actual lives. Why are we expecting these other people to do this, man? Come on now, stop it. Y'all know if somebody asks y'all to take a pay cut, y'all know y'all gonna be mad. Why are we pretending to be like this? Why are we acting like this, man? Come on now. Knock it off, folks. Knock it off. You know that you ain't gonna want nobody to take your money. You probably mad right now. If you go to your wallet and you missing $5, you mad. You looking like, man, where my money at, man? Like you checking jeans pockets and couch cushions. You want your money. You want your money, man. Come on, man. Some of us losing our mind about $10 right now. Mad at our son, our daughter, you know what I'm saying, winning our sock drawing, took that last $5 to $10 that we had in cash. Now we got to go to the ATM machine and get some more. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. We all been there. We all been there. We gonna tell the truth today, man. We gonna have fun and we gonna tell the truth at the same time. Strolling down, man. I apologize. I don't see some. I don't read some of your comments, folks. I'm just trying to keep the flow of the show going. But speaking of the flow of the show, time now for a word from the sponsors. I want to thank the fine folks at manscaped.com who are the official sponsors of the State of the Saints podcast. And for those that may not know, you can go to manscaped.com, use the promo code State of Saints. That's all one word, all lowercase letters, and you will save 20% off of your purchase. So I want to thank the fine folks at Manscaped for being a sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. Once again, manscaped.com, use the promo code State of Saints. And you're also brought to you by MyBookie. It says you like easy money. Thanks to MyBookie and their lock of the season, if either team scores in an NFL season opener, you win. If you don't know, a game hasn't ended 0-0 since World War II. So this is a sure bet. Head to mybookie.ag, select the lock of the season, and if any team scores between a Dallas Cowboys, old trash self, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, oh, whatever, you win. The best bet you can make is the one that you know that you won't lose. MyBookie is also playing host to several exclusive contests, including the $100,000 Super Contest, and it only costs $10 to enter. There's big money on the line this season, so you don't want to wait. Get in the game. Join now. Use the promo code State of Saints on mybookie.ag, and you will save. You will save money, and you can be a part of, some of the exclusive contests that they actually have. So once again, State of Saints on mybookie.ag. Back to the comments, and thank those fine folks, man. They ain't have to sponsor you, boy, but I appreciate it for their love on that. Let's see. We're gonna go with Julie. Julie says these guys get paid millions to play. So many players have taken pay cuts for the team. He's entitled to say no. That's the nature of the game. I think Jones Jr. will fill in nicely. Look, we talk about the money, but we also have to put ourselves in these type of positions, man. We have to understand fully. It's coming down outside. We have to understand fully that we only feel this way because we're not in these type of situations. And we can talk about what we would do if we were in the same position until we're faced with that position. How many of us have been or had a friend that we know they were doing something that wasn't good for them? Rather, it was too much drinking, too much smoking, not being with the right person. And we say, man, if it was me, I'd stop. If it was me, I wouldn't talk to him no more. But then we face ourselves in the same type of position or a similar position. And it's easier said than done. I am not going to count nobody bread because he or she is in a different tax bracket than me. It is not my responsibility to tell somebody what they need to do with their bread or how they should operate when it comes to the bread. All I know is from personal experience, if somebody asks me to take a pay cut, which this has happened to me before, I am going to look them in the eye. I'm going to make sure they understand what I'm saying. And I am going to say to them, hell no, to the no, hell to the no. That is what I'm going to do, okay? I'm just being real. I'm just being 100. Don't ask me to take no pay cut because it ain't gonna happen. I need all my money up front, okay? 10s and 20s if you got them. Mrs. B probably didn't have a clue about Murray pay cut till she seen it on TV. Exactly. She don't know what's going on, man. She just a figurehead, man. As long as the building ain't burning, she's straight. You know, and those are the best owners. You know what I'm saying? Sit back and let the organization run it, and just make sure that, you know, you have the right pieces in place to be successful. TJ Murray been out of there. He knew the rookie was coming for him. Tune, you're absolutely right, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, because I seen that body language, bro. I think Tune owned something. I ain't gonna lie to you. And then you look at some of the reports. I don't know if it was Nick, Rod Walker. I don't know which one it was, but somebody was like, man, Latavius ain't really getting no snaps. I mean, even when Devontae Freeman came, he was getting more snaps than Latavius. So I don't know if Latavius was like, man, bump this. I ain't about to go out here and get hurt in preseason when I know this team about to get rid of me. I think that might have something to do with it. I don't know what's going on, but I know this. The man is entitled to try to get every dime that he is supposed to get from his contract. I ain't got no problem with that. This man really said good sportsman. No, man, look. I ain't got look, man, look. It's not about being a good sportsman. I'm not going to knock him for not, you know what I'm saying, taking a pay cut, but hey. Murray has been replaced because the reports out of training camp were the same: slow, not hitting the holes, and fumbling. VB, I like I said, I really don't know what's going on with Latavius. I really don't know. I just know he won't get as many snaps as he would normally do in the training camp over the last couple of years. And, you know, I just think that maybe he's seen the writing on the wall, because you're wondering to himself, okay, why are you bringing in Devontae Freeman if you got me? You know, why are you bringing in, you know what I'm saying, like, why are you letting Tony Jones get more of these carries than I am? Sports is different. I love the Saints. I would take a pay cut to stay with the team or a company I love. Well, I tell you what, that's good for you, you know, Chris. And, you know, I mean, that's a good thing if you're going to do that. But, you know, I can't even put a percentage on that, because that wouldn't be fair to you, Chris. But there's a lot of people out there that would not take a pay cut. Okay, there's a lot of people that won't take a pay cut. If you love the company and stuff like that, man, this is the way I feel about it. And then we'll move on. The company is going to do what's best for the company, regardless. I know this from personal experience. Like, I'll tell y'all a story. Okay. I ended up moving to South Carolina because at the particular time, I was a store manager. I was working at this store. Some of y'all probably know it. It been in small country towns. It was called Fred's. And on Fred's, I was the store manager, and they moved me from Mississippi, and they moved me to South Carolina to take over a store out in South Carolina. And, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, they gave me, you know what I'm saying, money and stuff like that for travel and all that kind of stuff, which was cool. But at the same time, the company went under. They went out of business. And for a long time, you know, I was asking these folks, I was like, hey, man, are y'all about to go out of business? I said, because, you know, you got stores closing. Oh, no, they're not closing. You know, they're not closing your store. They just closed the stores that were underperforming. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So start closing some more stores. So I'm like, hey, bro, I'm like, man, can I go and find another job? Because, you know what I'm saying? Like, at this particular time, my wife was, you know, pregnant with Paxton. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be losing your job when your son about to be born, right? So they was like, nah, you ain't gonna close. You ain't gonna close. So never forget this. Me and my wife were driving, right? We were driving, and, you know, I stay in Myrtle Beach. So we was headed. I was like, man, let's just go to the beach. Let's go walk on the beach. She's like, okay. So while I'm driving, I get a phone call from the district manager. And it was probably 2 weeks after we had this conversation, like, now you don't have anything to worry about. He informs me that the store is about to close. Now, keep in mind, there were other opportunities that were out there for me to have, right? And people were talking to me coming into the store, man, you know, say, I like your store. I like what you're doing. And I turned them down because I was like, nah, we ain't going nowhere. But what did that teach me? That loyalty is fine. But at the end of the day, companies are going to do what companies are going to do for the betterment of themselves. And they will lie to you. They will misinform you to keep you around for you to fall into their agenda. You know what I'm saying? Because they probably didn't want me to leave because they needed somebody to lock up and, you know what I'm saying, and open. And they knew that. So I'm saying that to say this, for all those people out there, I'll take a pay cut. Companies are going to do what companies are going to do for the betterment of themselves. Organizations are going to do what organizations are going to do to help themselves, not the player. No matter how good you are, you can be the best player ever. But if you get hurt, you tear your ACL, you blow out your Achilles, they'll sing your praises as long as you giving them that production. But once that production drops, once you stop being a player that you once was, they're going to drop you like a bad habit, and they won't think twice about you. Period. So, as an employee, as a player, why can't I do the same thing? I will never ever look at a player and be like, man, you making too much money. Because at the same time, we will all be trying to do the same thing. That's what we do. If you've been with a company for a year, 2 years, you're looking for a pay raise, period. And you definitely aren't trying to look for nobody to decrease your salary. In life, in everyday life, folks, this is your job. That is your decision. This is his job, and this is his decision. So I just wanted to tell y'all that story, that companies are going to look out for themselves, and they will do anything they can to stay afloat. Dada, thank you very much for $5. Says Mrs. B already read that one, but thank you so much, Dada. I appreciate that. Scroll down a little bit more. Just another number. Freeman looked worse than him. They don't need Freeman at all. Saints fans, why? He's no better than Murray. I don't know what we talk about here. We talking about Freeman or Murray? I wish the mother lover would ask me to take. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And he knows our offense way better. Yeah, that's true, Dennis. That is true. That's a huge loss. Now, I will say that. It's going to be a huge loss. Shout out to your boy after further review. Yeah, my guy, Matt Moscona, man. Shouts out to Matt. He's been on here before, Tro. He's been on here. He's been on here before, man. We're going to have to get him back. I'm going to have to reach out to him, man. I have to reach out to him, get him back before the season is over. It's shocking seeing all these dudes worrying about another man's finances. Yeah, I mean, look, man, it's so easy for us to put ourselves in these type of positions, man. Like, if it was me, we don't know until that happens. I mean, how many of us, be real, how many of us be like, man, if I had this money, I'm going to pay this, I'll pay this, I'll do this, I'll do that. When that money comes, we don't do none of the things that we say we're going to do. When we're in these positions, man, like, I'm not even going to try to lie and say that I'm going to take a pay cut. I don't care. Look, I was born and raised in New Orleans. Y'all hear me? Born and raised in the 9th Ward. Grew up on Montague Street, North Prince Street, St. Claude, catching the Franklin to the St. Claude. Go to school. I love New Orleans. I bleed black and gold. As Aaron said, until I'm dead and cold. You know what I'm saying? But if I was to plan for the Saints and they asked me to take a pay cut, guess what, y'all? Hometown player TJ Jones got released by the New Orleans Saints today because he refused to take a pay cut. Love everybody in New Orleans. Love my city. But don't ask me to take no pay cut. Don't ask me to take no pay cut. Though. It's shocking seeing, I already read that one. Philip says, Philly Phil, if Saints win, I think Jameis is going to go off on the other teams. I hope so. Mookie says, read my comment. Mookie, I'm sorry, I probably strolled down and missed your comment here. Let me see if I can find it if it's not too far, man. Because sometimes, let me see. I apologize to the people's comments that I didn't see. Mookie says, Tony Jones Jr., I played him through the preseason. I think I read that. Mookie, I think I read that comment, man. I think I read your comment on it. I remember reading something like that. But, you know, if I miss your comment, like I said, I apologize, man. Feel free to copy your comment, paste it down below so I can read it again. But I'm just trying to keep with the flow of the show, man. I don't want to go back a little bit too far. And then you have a lot of people, you know, wanting to chime in. So it's nothing personal. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to keep the rhythm going. Tony picked that slap up. Yeah, man, he definitely did. He picked up the slack on that. Murray couldn't do it simple. Man, look, I ain't trying to beat up on Latavius Murray. I think Latavius Murray was capable. I'm not going to disrespect Latavius on that, man. I look, Tony Jones played better. I will concede to that. But, you know, Latavius Murray going to bounce back. Hey, what happened to that Swagoo interview? He's been one of the few commentators on TV that are high on the Saints. Yeah, man, look, this is what happened. All right, so his assistant emailed me because I emailed him maybe a couple months ago, and I requested for him to be on the State of the Saints podcast. Okay, so then his assistant like reached out to me like about a few months later, and she was like, "Do you still want Marcus to be on the show?" I was like, "Yeah, great." So she asked me about the type of system I use. I said I use StreamYard as a system, and she was like, "Oh, he's been having problems with StreamYard. We can do Zoom." They're like, "But we'll make it work." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Because I don't use Zoom." So I end up like putting a date in which he was supposed to come in. He was supposed to come in on Tuesday, but of course, this was during the time, all the stuff that was going down with First Take and Max Kellerman leaving and stuff like that. So y'all probably seen Swagoo quite a bit on First Take. And it was like the date that I gave wasn't good enough. And it was like, I will get back to you. And I haven't heard anything since. So that's the story of that. So hopefully I can probably reach back out to him and reach out to his representation. Hopefully he can get back, and come on the show. But that's what happened with it. Okay. I think I never told that story, and I do apologize. But it was a little bit of a time conflict, conflicting times between me and when he was available. Because as y'all know, man, he does a lot of shows. He does contributions on First Take, Get Up. I seen him doing some on Head First with Ryan Clark. So he's a busy man. So the fact that, if we can get him on the show would be a blessing in itself, man, because he's a solid guy, from everything. I mean, I've had Twitter conversations with him, and, he's a solid guy to me. So love to get him on the show. Hopefully we can get him on the show soon if the time matches up. But that's what happened, Jason. I apologize, but I'll keep you informed on the next time he can come on. John says, get Trotter on the show, TJ. I had Jim Trotter on the show already. I had Jim Trotter a couple months ago. You can check that out. You can check it out, John. I don't know if you've seen that interview or not, but it's available in the archives, man, on YouTube. You can check it out. Yeah, he was on the show. Okay, how will Roby fit in our secondary, and does this mean we will see much more man defense? Darryl, he's going to be the number 2 cornerback. That's not a doubt in my mind. Sorry, folks, for those that think he's not. He will be. He's good as outside corner. He's a well-respected corner. Texan fans are mad right now because he was one of the best corners on their team, if not the best. He will be the number 2 corner. He will line up on the outside. And you're probably right, Darryl. They probably will be playing a lot of man coverage. Lattimore and Roby going to be a duo to watch as long as both stay healthy. Not another guy saying, read my comments. Hey, man, sometimes, some people just think that I don't want to read their comments. But, man, it's not anything like that. I need to scroll back up. Some people are saying that I'm, like I said, when people comment, it's like, the chat moves like really, really fast. Dada says, thank you very much for $5. Says, give me a pay increase, but pay cut, nah. I don't speak that language. I love my family more than a company. I need my cash. Dada, I agree with that. Okay, I ain't looking for no pay cut. Kirkland says, facts. I'm not loyal to any company. A better opportunity comes around, I'm gone. Look, ain't nothing wrong with being a capitalist, man. For real. Capitalizing on people needs from you, because they're gonna do the same thing. Who you got starting cornerback number 2 this Sunday? Adebo, Crawley, or Trufant? Because Roby is suspended first game and Trufant hasn't even practiced with us yet. You're probably gonna go with I don't know Crawley's situation. I don't even know if Crawley's still hurt or not, or still dealing with an injury. I would put the rookie on the outside. I'll start Paulson Adebo. I really would, man. I would start him. And I would, if Crawley's available, I will have a rotation between he and Crawley. I don't know, TJ. The Saints might be the only exception. Man, look, being a good sportsman and all that kind of stuff, that is that's all fine and dandy, man, when you playing jacks and Monopoly and and Scrabble and all that kind of stuff there, man. But in real life, man, look, I'm trying to get my money and more money. Dennis, thank you very much for $5. Says, I don't really know anything about Roby. What's the insight there? He's a good man-to-man corner. He's one, like, the only thing that bothers me about Bradley Roby is he's a lot like Marshawn Lattimore. Like, he's a guy that can become disinterested a lot. But I think with the combination of these two, I think they're gonna bring out the best in one another. I think with the combination of Chris Richard, he want to allow them to become lackadaisical to a point where they're going to be with their head in the clouds. And that is something that I can appreciate. That's something that I'm glad that we actually have, because it would concern me if Aaron Glenn was the secondary coach. Aaron Glenn is a little bit more of a teacher. He's almost like he has that substitute teacher vibe going, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, no, stay in the classroom. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fine. Like, read the book. Oh, you know the answer to this? Okay, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But with Chris Richard, like, man, look here. He wants your undivided attention. You know what I'm saying? He's shifting your hips, you know what I'm saying? Grabbing your shoulders, you know what I'm saying? Telling you how to tackle, telling you about your form. You need that kind of stuff, man. And it keeps you alert. So I think it's going to bring out the best in them, and I just think that a winning culture is going to help him out a lot. I think a winning culture will help him live up to his true potential. I think the Texans have a lot going on. I think the Texans are an organization that have a lot of problems, and guys can kind of, get lost in the lights when all that stuff is going on with the organization. Murray was dependable for us. Preseason games with small sample size with a rotation lineup. Can't count on that only. Jones looked good. Yeah, Jones looked good. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't really count on it. And yes, Latavius Murray understands and knows the playbook more so than so many, guys that's coming in here at the running back position. And case in point, Tony Jones, if we're talking particulars here. But, look, we got Alvin Kamara, man. It's not like any of these guys are starting. Tony Jones not going to start, okay? Who's going to get the majority of the snaps is going to be Alvin Kamara. I mean, Tony Jones going to be up in that thing when Kamara need a break. So who else Houston got on their clearance roster? All players must go. I don't know. Look, check this out. When you decide that Tyrod Taylor is going to start over Deshaun Watson, like, you already conceded and said that you ain't trying to win. No disrespect to Tyrod Taylor. I like Tyrod Taylor a lot, but he's not better than Deshaun Watson. And even though all this stuff is going on with Deshaun Watson right now, I get it. But those players are not dumb. And even though they probably got love for Tyrod, they know he's not better than Deshaun. So they know the best quarterback is not playing. So guys have a tendency of not putting their best foot forward when they feel like the organization is not putting their best foot forward. Spears was going in about Jameis Winston being a top 10 QB with the Saints. Yeah, like you were saying, if they limit the turnovers. And I agree with that. Some people are down on Jameis Winston, and that's one of the main reasons why the Saints aren't really in the conversation, because people have written off Jameis Winston and they don't feel like he's good at all because they say he turned the ball over a lot. But I just feel like those issues and those problems can be resolved. Okay. I just think that in better situations and better coaching can help a guy become better. So maybe people don't think that Jameis fits into that mode. Maybe people just think that Jameis isn't that good, but hey, it is what it is. Like, I've seen some quarterbacks play in my lifetime. I've seen some quarterbacks play in the last 5 years, and I don't think some of them don't even possess the same arm talent as Jameis Winston. I just think that Jameis Winston took upon himself to be the leader. He put too much pressure on himself. He wanted to make a play every single play. He didn't rely on his team in order for him to, get the ball back. And I think that Sean Payton is going to reel him in because, number one, if you're throwing the ball all over the place, interceptions here, there, everywhere, you're not going to play for long. Sean Payton ain't about to have that. So I just think that Jameis is going to be a better quarterback. I don't think that he's going to have 30 interceptions. I think with the combination of a good running game and a good offensive line and some good play calling, I think that he'll be the best version of himself, the underdog. That's why it would be an upset, but media doesn't give Saints respect. So I think we will win. Green Bay, that puts us up there in the rankings for sure. Man, I look, Saints 01, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't care about the rankings anymore. I don't care about the rankings. I don't care about what the media says about the Saints. I don't care where they place us as a team. I don't care what they expect us to do. Like, honestly, man, they can kiss my behind, quite frankly. Some of these pundits out here, not all of them. You have some really good pundits that do their due diligence, that do their homework, they do their research, and they get on the television and give you the truth. But then there's those guys out there that just want shock value, that just want you as a Saint fan to get mad and chime in on Twitter and feed their ego and feed their following. That's all they actually want. They want you to retweet. They want you to be like, yo, you seen what this dude said? That's what they want. That's what they want from you. Me personally, I don't care what they say. As long as the New Orleans Saints go out here, handle their business, do what they need to do, the rest will take care of themselves. Murray was dependable for us in preseason. Oh, I already read that. But Dennis, thank you very much for the $5, my friend. I'm going to read a few more, and then we're going to go ahead and get up out of here, man. I'm going to stroll down. Marquez Callaway will be better than Michael Thomas on his level in the next 2 years. He has a lot of potential. Oh boy, that's a hot take right there. Speaking of hot takes, look, I like Marquez Callaway a lot. I think that he has a lot of potential, but slow your roll, okay? I mean, Michael Thomas is a special wide receiver, and I know out of sight, out of mind. And sometimes, like when guys go missing and we don't see them in a while, we have a tendency of not appreciating them as much as we once did. But slow your roll, bro. Slow your roll, okay? Marquez Callaway is good, but Michael Thomas is elite. So a couple one-hand snags and catching passes over two guys. I mean, that's all fine and dandy, but you need to put in that work. You know what I'm saying? You need to put in that work, and Michael Thomas definitely has put in that work. And I can't say that, man. I can't say that. That if I was to say that, that would be prisoner of the moment. That would be out of sight, out of mind. That's what that would be. Okay, that would be okay. I'm saying that. I mean, but Michael Thomas hasn't played in a good minute, so sometimes like we have a tendency of forgetting how special that dude is when he's playing and he's healthy. Sean says, "Shit, they still give Green Bay all the excuses if we beat them." And I'm pretty sure they will, but who cares? Like, who cares, Sean? Like, let them make those excuses, man. Let them make Monday morning quarterback and all these different hot takes. And, oh, it was what the Packers didn't do, more so what the Saints did if the Saints win, you know? So, I mean, let them talk. I just want the Saints to execute and be the better team and have more points at the end of the game than the Green Bay Packers. TJ sit at home doing curls saying Stephen A. Can catch these. Nah, man, look, I ain't got nothing against Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is a really talented man. He's extremely entertaining, but I just think that's what he is. You know, I just think that's what he is. I think that he's just an entertainment guy. You know, he's a guy that yells and screams to the top of his lungs and come up with these catchy catchphrases and all that kind of stuff and be super animated, you know, and, you know, bring people in. But what is he really saying at the end of the day? You know, what is he really saying? You know, it just, you know, a bunch of empty calorie comments. You know, there's no substance behind it at all. You know, he makes it off of his wit, his charm, and his intelligence. You know, and I ain't talking about football intelligence either, because everybody knows he's a much better basketball mind than he is a football mind. But if somebody say, "All right, I'm gonna give you $12 million to talk about football, basketball, and any other sport that comes out," I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would take that. So, good point. That 30 for 30 Jazz is so stupid. That was 1 year out of 5. People are prisoners of the last moment. Yeah, and people also have a tendency of not believing that guys can change. I'm one of those people that fall into a category that say that they can. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. It's been a fun show. Thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of the show. If I didn't read your comments, I do apologize. Okay. Feel free to always chime in the chat during live streams. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast, facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. Previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. Follow me on Twitter at TJAYJones8. And this show is a part of the Pigskin Podcast Network. Dennis says, who that? Thank you very much for the $5 again, Dennis. And also, you can be able to check out all the other episodes, like I said, on all those streaming networks, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. Really do appreciate Manscaped, the official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. Go to mybookie.ag. Use the promo code State of Saints, SOTS, to get that is the promo code, so you can save a little bit of money if you want to be a part of the contest that they're running. And thank you all so much. You take care, be safe. And like always, all I got to say is,